So today, we're interviewing a sister who escaped an abusive relationship with her 5 children and came all the way to Africa. So stay tuned.
What you sing as giving them a high of kindness.
Anasema malaika ninakupenda malaika anasema malaika ninakutamani malaika anasema nashindwa na mali sina we ningekuoa malaika anasema jambo ngolo jambo bwana habari gani ngolo mzuri sana akiwa.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to T3 and Me. It's your man Tim Ford Jr. here. And today I have my beautiful daughter with me, Miss Naya. Say hey, Naya.
She was ready.
Yeah. And I also have our beautiful sister, Mrs. Shamar. Say hello to the world.
Shalom.
And of course, I have my beautiful wife behind the camera as always.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, she turned it around and said, hey, she love y'all. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. We appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the love and support that's been shown. We appreciate all the prayers, and we thank you all for just continuing to hold us accountable and push us towards greatness. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And like I said in the beginning of the video, today we're talking to a sister who escaped some tough circumstances with her children, and she's come back to Africa, and she really is focused on putting herself and her family in a better position. And I was moved and touched by her story because I've been hearing about how she's come here and hasn't used her circumstances as an excuse, but she's actually used it as a stepping stool for her to be able to help and to have a voice for people over here. So without further ado, I'll let my sister, take the floor and tell people where she's from, what she's dealt with, and what her vision is as she's come here to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
I have to break that up.
Yeah, right. I asked some more questions to break it up for
Let's
us.
start with where you from and what inspired you to come to Africa.
I'm from Rhode Island, United States, and I always had a, interest in leaving the country. And most recently, I thought of Tanzania after hearing a bunch of testimonies from people who come here. So yeah, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
How long was that flight from Rhode Island to here?
I took 19 hours with 3 planes. Including, yeah, 3 planes, not including the layovers, which were 2.5 hours each. So, yeah.
And how many children?
5.
5. And the age ranges?
2 to 14.
Oh, wow. How was that traveling with 5 children in that age range of groups? Whew, that's a lot of personalities.
Well, the oldest ones, they're a lot of help. I got 2 oldest girls, so they help a lot. But and only the takeoff was an issue for my 2-year-old because he didn't want to be strapped in. But
Each 3 flights or the first?
All 3 flights once it's time to take off.
Yeah.
And walking onto the plane, seeing all those faces, he kind of was uncomfortable. And then take off, he didn't want the seatbelt on. But once he could take that seatbelt off, he was good.
Yeah.
He was good. It was fine. They slept most of the time.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, how long have y'all been here now?
Going on 2 months.
Going on 2 months. So, what's been one of the, I guess, the toughest part about coming over here as a single mother at this point? What's been the toughest challenge that you've had to deal with?
It's more the challenge is just your mind. My mind, just like constantly trying to make sure I stay focused on why I'm here, what I came from, and how it's right and better for me and my children. So that's the toughest thing, to just constantly make sure I'm feeding the truth in my mind, because there's many excuses to stay or go back, but there's a lot more that's here. So I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I struggle with it at first myself. It's like you always trying to, you could find the negativity in everything because that's how we're trained. But we have to retrain ourselves to see the good in all the situations because we came here for a better life at the end of the day.
See the solution.
Yeah.
Because for every problem that we face here, there's always a solution. It's going to help those coming behind us as well.
Exactly.
That's why that's part of the reason why I want to have this interview with you, because you faced a problem that a lot of our women deal with in America. You faced abuse and amongst other things that I'll let you touch on, and you gathered the strength and saw that it was better for you and your family over here.
Yeah.
Talk about dealing with an abusive relationship and finding the strength to know, okay, Africa is where I need to take my family for me to be safe.
All right. Yeah. So it's just faith.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like that's the number one thing. It doesn't matter if you got money or not. If the Most High tells you to go, like that's what happened to me. I knew he was calling me to go. Every door was closed. He said go. So that's what I mean about that battle in my mind, because it's like you're walking on water. You don't know exactly what the solution is. He's just saying go. So then once you start taking them steps, so that's what I mean, the toughest part. You're taking them steps, and then you have in your mind like fighting like your experiences, your thoughts, lies of the enemy, just telling you what you're used to, what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I can just go back to that.
And so it's just like she said, there's a solution for everything, but you don't see the solution manifest yet. So it's like the battle constantly, like there is a solution. This is the right thing. This is the right way. And so
even though I don't see it yet, it's gonna come.
Even though I don't see it yet, exactly.
Yeah.
So faith is the number one thing that just keeps me going. Just focusing on the promise and that's it.
Yeah.
To focus on the truth and the promise, and it's easy to live when you just live that way. That's simple. That's it.
Yeah. So go ahead, I'm back. Go ahead.
I want to say, so I know dealing with, like in our community, y'all know we Hebrews by tribe, and in our community, the awakening happened, within the past, I would say 5 to 6 years, which is a beautiful thing. But there's also been a dark side to the awakening. Many of the women have found themselves in relationships where they're being abused and they're being manipulated, oftentimes by the scriptures or by certain assembly members.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your experience dealing with that sort of abuse and how you were able to overcome it.
Good question.
That is a good question. It's a large question.
Yeah.
So I would just say, number one with me, like I said before, it's just focus on the Most High, and the Most High is true. And a lot of times the issue is that we believe so many lies that we were told from our upbringing, how we were raised. So then we end up in these abusive relationships based off of insecurities, based off of a bunch of lies and issues. And so then you just think this is the way things are supposed to be, and whatever somebody says is the truth. But if you're not listening what the word says. So if the word says you shouldn't, this is not how someone's supposed to be treated, you have to stand on that and just really believe that what he said is right and what they're saying is a lie. And you just gotta focus on why you keep staying in that types of relationship, or letting people abuse you and hurt you, and get over all those lies about yourself. Really, it comes down to just introspection.
And then you're in a interesting position because you have 2 older daughters. Like 4, you said 5 children, right?
Yeah.
5 children, but 2 older daughters who are watching you and gaining strength from the moves that you make and learning from you. So that's big that you're able and willing to step out on faith, because I know that's probably the main reason. Like, okay, look, they're watching. I need to show them, like, I need to have some strength.
Yeah, so that's what's funny, because like even in the relationship, when you notice these things and you have children and you realize what's going on, because the same thing. Okay, people in who identify as Hebrew Israelites and are in these abusive relationships. Like I was in a relationship like in Christianity, and it's kind of like don't communicate, kind of like just do whatever your husband says. Don't so you're learning this from grandparents, you're learning this from the elders in the religion, and then your if you have an abusive husband, then he's like, this is perfect, you know, because then it's easy to be controlled because I'm not gonna communicate if there's any issue, because it causes it will cause, you know, him to be uncomfortable, right? So it's like it's just avoid a confrontation. So, but when you realize that that's not it, and then you're raising daughters, and you're like, I want them to be able to communicate, have healthy communication. I want them not to go through this. That's what kind of even opens up your eyes even more so. To be like, communicate with your husband, hoping he's gonna change. When they don't be changing, and you know, nothing happens, there's no fruit of repentance, then it's like, what do I do? And that's when it's like, get to that word, because your grandma, your mother, everybody who's has that same mindset to just stay. They just gonna be like, oh no, baby, just stay, stay. Even if you're in, you know, like in 2 separate rooms, just stay and be abused for the rest of your life. And then that generational curse goes on to the children. So the Most High told me, like, nah, this is it. And so then once I become obedient, it's like a lot of affliction. So then you're constantly fighting again. No, he said it's it. This is what I gotta do. And then he gives me another word to help, to strengthen me and keep me, you know? But like it first started, I guess, I believe he probably does use, like you mentioned, my daughters, my children. So if the children see you in that, they're like, well, no, that, you know, men can talk to me like that.
This is normal.
And say with the boys, oh, I can talk to women like that. I can, you know, like, no.
And it's unfortunate because a lot of us within our society has been trained to be that way. Like you said, our mothers and grandmothers have been trained to accept that. And a lot of our men have been trained to accept that's the way for us to act towards our women. So it's like we're clashing, but without us using the word of God, we never will really be able to get to our true nature and our true selves. Because just like your daughter, you know, gave you the strength, my children give me the strength to not act in certain manners and not move in a certain way because I know that they're watching. Like now, when I look into my daughter's eyes, I'm able to see my wife. I see my wife as an infant now. Like, believe it or not, like I can see my wife as a baby in my daughter. So I'm like, my wife is my daughter now, in a sense. Like I have to look at it in that manner and treat her feelings in the way that she's my daughter. Gently, yeah.
So I have a question back to what we were saying a little bit earlier about how like women in your family were encouraging you to stay, like, you know, like your grandmothers, your mothers, the older women, you know, a lot of times they will encourage you to stay in situations such as these. So what would you say to people who say, you know, like you're only supposed to leave relationships for certain reasons? What would you say to these people?
Another good question.
That's going to be a question that's going to come up.
That's a good question. Get out. That's it. Like, it's not okay. If you are speaking to somebody, like I see, if someone's really trying to change, right, we all can make changes. And you know, if it's a man or a woman going through this abusive relationship, it's like if the wife or husband is willing to change, like, and they're willing to allow you to hold them accountable, that's it. That's what it's supposed to be. Submit yourselves one to another, you know.
Watch out for the car, y'all. Submit yourselves one
to another. That's what it's all about, you know, helping each other reach their goals. And it's like, you should be thankful that, you know, someone's trying to hold you accountable. They want you to do your best. But if they're like, nah, or like they'll tell you what you already know the pattern of behavior, you're married to this person, they tell you what you want to hear for that moment, and then they back to the same the next week. And I'm sure that's the problem with many of us women who are going through their relationship. We give them a chance, we give them another chance, we give them another chance, and then they keep doing it. So it's like, you don't love yourself if you're going to stay there. You don't believe in the Most High if you're going to stay there. You don't care about that breaking this curse if you're going to stay there. Be careful.
Where was Talatibu? That means go slow. They're flying
maybe
around
this
here.
Little thing over here.
Yeah, maybe
This
we
seems
should
like a
move
busy
over.
street over here.
It comes down, if they're not gonna change,
Yeah.
well, then you need to get out. But if you don't get out, then that's on you now. Now it's time. It's not. Stop blaming them. Stop blaming the abuse. You're not gonna change. You like it. You don't have faith. You don't believe. You gotta do introspection on why do I keep staying here? What am I afraid of? What don't I trust? You know, that's the only way.
One of the scriptures tell us that men, we're supposed to reverence and love our wives just like Christ loved the church. So if we're not in the position of loving our wives and building them and helping them get to their better selves and forgiving them when they hurt us, a lot of us hold on to things and like it seeps into our soul because we aren't able to let things go. It's like things we can hold on to for months, and you haven't talked about it, so you're holding on to that, and you're not reverencing your wife like Christ loved the church. You're not being open and letting her know, and that what leads to the abuse sometimes. So I know like we all trying to figure this thing out, and I'm not agreeing with abuse, and I'm not saying this something that that should go on, but I understand the mentality of what's going on in that moment for both individuals, because we've been trained to react rather than think about what's going on, rather than think about how my action is going to affect everybody that's involved. So you taking that chance and not seeing that you're being loved like Christ loved the church. You saw it, like the words say I'm supposed to be loved like this, but I'm not being loved like this. So I need to go and find that.
Yeah.
How has it been over here with you maneuvering into the business side of things to make sure, well, not even just the business, I don't want to touch the business yet. Have you tried to look for the comfort in love, or are you focusing on the Most High right now?
The Most High,
Yeah.
that's what he's dealing with is, I'm your father, I'm your husband, I'm your provider. You feel me? So like when, like kind of a little bit back is just like, when you're dealing with those things and things don't change, and like you said, you understand the mentality behind it, it's like, I think that's the same with the woman when she's forgiven. It's like, oh, I understand why he's upset or why he's holding on to this. Maybe we can work it out together. But then they're not. So like that's like unequally yoked because you're willing to make these changes and that person's not. So that's the point. You're unequally yoked. So you have to. And so once you get unequally yoked, right? Like what is it? Like they say it's like you're yoked up like two cows, but what if it's like a cow and a giraffe over here? You everywhere. You can't do nothing. You can't move forward. You're everywhere. You're just like, I don't even know, unstable. That's what it is.
That's the word.
That's exactly what it is. Like you're unstable in all your ways. So coming to Africa and being completely cut off, and sometimes you think you're completely cut off and you're not. And the Most High has to work out like cutting off like a whole soul tie. And that's what happened with me. I came over here and he was just like saying, even though I was way over here, it's like put up more boundaries. Like how many more boundaries can I put up? And you're really trying to still like, it's crazy. So when, as soon as he's like, yep, that's the boundary. That's the type of boundary I want you to put up. Which he reveals to everybody probably different boundaries depending on the relationship issues. But for me, it was like, okay, now it's just like, I'm your father. So it's been really easy when you're focused on that. Very easy because he made it plain to me. I'm your provider.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was it.
So you made the decision to focus on the Most High rather than focusing on your circumstances. And he provided means to help you to make it over there.
Exactly. And the same thing when I got here. I thought I had to go right into focusing on business, and he was like, nah, you keep focusing on me. And it's like, that don't make no sense though. And it's like what he should reveal to me was like, seek first my kingdom, seek first my right way of doing things. And that all had to do with like inside, mentally. Then everything else will be added unto you. And so he's been showing me how everything will be added unto me.
Matthew 6:33.
Exactly.
So what would you say to the single, well, I have 2 points. First one is, what would you say to the single woman who wants to come to Africa but they may have multiple children. They may be doing it alone. They feel overwhelmed, or they feel like there may not be a community here for them. What would you say to those women who are battling with those sorts of thoughts?
Focus on the truth of what the Most High told you to do. Whatever He told you to do, you believe is, well, you know. I think it is, you know. You're just fighting with what, you know. But that's only for those women I'm talking to who who knows that the Most High said go here, and you're struggling like, wait, how, what? Just focus on what He says to do, and He'll reveal the plan and how He wants you to do it.
Do you have to have a set amount of money to come?
No. he provides. He'll just show you exactly. Because I'm telling you, when I was over there, you'd think things would be easier. I mean, I will say this too. A lot of single moms that I had contact with, they're quick to just go right to get like government assistance. For me, it's like in my spirit that He was like, I'm your, like, well, you're going to go to the beast for provision. Like, there's a... So for me, after my separation, I didn't go that route. Like I knew there's opportunity. I knew there was opportunity for me and my children. I believed in the word, and I just didn't see in any way that it's like go to the beast, go to Babylon, and ask them like
for what?
For what? We already know the history. Like, and a lot of women are feeling stuck, and that's what they're doing. And like I didn't do that. When you don't do that, it's so much easier. But when you do that, that's what the enemy does. He gives you everything you need, and you think you got peace, and you're stuck there. And the you know the poverty, like it's like a whole principality of poverty there. You ain't going nowhere.
They want you there.
Yeah, they want you there. But if you have that mindset where you're like, only Yah's my provider, you're good. You have to just believe and read that word, because you see every occasion, Abraham, everybody, like they all walked on faith. They didn't know exactly where they were gonna go. Like they didn't know what they were gonna do or how they were gonna do it. But the Most High provided. That's why He gives us that book, to see them stories and hear those testimonies and live.
Amen. Hey, you just have another point?
Yeah. So, like, your story is like dear to my heart because my mother, she actually was murdered as a victim of domestic violence. A guy that she was seeing, they actually got into an argument and he stabbed her to death. And we grew up seeing like my mom getting abused, and oftentimes my brothers were also getting abused too. And she stayed in these relationships, and the outcome was her end, you know. And thank God you got out before that happened. But what do you say to the women who continue to stay in sorts of abusive relationships, narcissistic relationships, relationships where children are being touched and things like that? What do you say to those women who stay in those sorts of situations? And they haven't, you know, obviously they're still alive, but what do you say to those women?
I think if she's watching this, then she knows she gotta repent. Like that's it. I can't say, like, for others, you know, what the past went, what our family did in the past. They don't have the age of information to kind of, or the people around them to, you know, share how dangerous this is and understand, you know, understand what we went through as a people. All those generational curses can come upon us, but like in this generation, and, you know, I'm sure if it's the first time they're hearing this type of stuff, you got to get out. And if you've already been warned to get out and you're staying there, I just say you got to repent now, because you're hurting your babies, you know, by staying.
Yeah.
And you can't believe the lies, because of the lie that I was always told, because there's reasons for me to believe that, you know, my
Vipi? Freshi. Hapana asante. Alright.
So I'll just say that there's a lie that was told to me a lot because of my situation, not seeing my father growing up as much as I probably could have. That was like, and it was probably, you know, issues with his relationship that caused that, or my mom trying to keep me away from my father because out of spite. That what I was told by my abuser all the time was, you're just trying to keep me away from my children like you were, you know, and so you fight with that lie, and then they know how to manipulate you, and then you're thinking, but let me prove, because your mind is all unstable, you don't know how to think right, and you're just like making the wrong choice decisions, thinking like, oh, I need to prove that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep proving to you, I'm trying to just protect the kids, you're not changing. nothing's changing. And then in that the same thing happened. Like I went to the police. They didn't do nothing. They did nothing. The court, they did nothing. I went to the judge had a lawyer. Ordered a lawyer to represent my children. They saw all the evidence. They heard it from my children's mouths, and they did nothing. You know, so it was like you get very overwhelmed because that too. Women could be really trying everything, and just no one is there, especially with black women. There's so many black women that I heard since coming out with the story that where they went to get restraining orders and they were denied restraining orders. Like I was denied too, and they said for my reason wasn't because the evidence wasn't there. It was because you have a motion in progress, like processing. That has nothing to do with the safety.
Yeah.
I went to the police. They did nothing. Nothing. So then they get overwhelmed, and that's another trauma.
Yeah.
Like no one's here to protect me. What do I do? I'm gonna give up, you know. And it's like we have to trust the Most High, because I'm telling you, the judge told me I will never allow you to leave the state of Rhode Island with your children. She told me. She said never.
Even though your children were involved, that's crazy.
And I had a better opportunity because my grandmother had gave me 49 acres of land in Alabama, and she knew I was home with my 5 children for 10 years. So I'm just like, this makes sense for me to. I'm not saying I wasn't on welfare or any government assistance, so it's like y'all don't want me to make an opportunity for my children, and while I was practically homeless too. And she knew my situation, and she was like, no, I'll never let you leave. I'm like, like the lawyer was even in court saying she has more assets than him and all these things. And I'm like, exactly. I'm just trying to move to an area where I can make a better future for my children, give them a home. And she was like, I'll never let you go because you know, I don't know why. I don't know why.
You know why.
Hold on. Was he black?
Huh?
Was he black?
Cool. No. He's big. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's why.
White supremacy was on his side. You know, he took advantage of the white, what's it called?
White card.
No, what is it called? It would come to me.
Yeah.
But he took advantage of that, like,
sorry.
oh, what's that word? But it's such a good word because that's exactly what happened. And
I know exactly. I think I know what you're talking
privilege,
about.
white privilege,
right?
And he's like mixed, you know, but he got light skin, so you know, he's like, I'm taking advantage of this right here. And that's what happened with the police when they came over twice. You know, and when I went to see the police, everything, they just listened to him. And my daughter was outside at the time, like, with pajamas, because he was banging at the window. And I told him, he's at my window, I just want him to leave. Like, I'm not trying to cause any trouble, I just want him to leave. And scared and when I went to hide, he was in the window telling them, come outside. So they're scared. And one of them went. And so one of them went, and I didn't even know. The other ones were like, Mommy said stay, and they're scared. So she went out of fear, and the police came, and they were like, I know you're scared, you know, but didn't ask her no questions because he said, don't ask my daughter any questions, don't talk to my daughter. I'm like, what are you here for? And she would have told him everything without me even being there, so they didn't even, so anyways, there's other things that had happened, but the point is that this discourages these women and all this oppression. They just give up. There's so much abuse. They have no time to heal because they're always fight and flight mode. Everything, fight and flight to protect their children, to protect their mind and everything. So like, I feel bad for them, but our Father, he's so good to us. He loves us so much. He doesn't want us to go through that. He knows what we're feeling, but I think at this moment, he's like, y'all gotta trust me. I don't care what no judge said. If I open the door for you to go, go.
Run.
And so I went without even knowing, like, if the United States can get involved for so-called parental abduction. I was like, I'm doing what's right. Like, and it took me a while to realize that. It took me a while.
How long did you fight with yourself?
I want to say we have to realize that we're not under man's laws. If they are contrary to the Most High, and what he's saying, we have to follow the Most High. It doesn't matter what man's laws say.
True. His law holds.
His law is trumps anything.
Yes. And when you believe that, he says he'll protect you. You know,
make provision.
He says he's going to protect you. So when you're obedient in his laws, he's going to protect you. And it says it in his words. So you have to believe that.
Yeah.
And so it took me. You asked me how long it took me to realize that. It took me a month here in Africa. Like I went. out of OB. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared of so many different.
So you didn't even know on the plane. You was just
I didn't know nothing until like
a month ago.
Yeah, like a month ago. So but when I got here, then I started, well, because of my family, because they still going to court. They got court tomorrow.
Wow.
Like have my parents in court as witnesses and stuff. Like to what? They can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, he put me on. They gave him custody now.
Wow.
They put me on child support now.
How you on top?
And I had physical custody. We left court with physical custody
Privilege.
and everything. But that I didn't know it because the judge just is like, I don't know.
Privilege.
He has money, I don't. He has a lawyer, I don't. The judge's attorney.
Because you were a stay-at-home mom, right?
I'm a stay-at-home mom for 10 years.
You didn't have money. You do now.
Yeah.
The wealth is coming your way. It's gonna bring you down.
And so that's what I'm trying to say is like
Yeah.
the Most High will protect you. He keeps you. Like that's what he was trying to show me. He's like, I don't care what you sent to them. Because I sent the court 3 documents since being here, and the Most High showed me. Like, why are you doing all that?
Good.
Like, yeah. So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
but that was me, you know.
Yeah, your
like,
flesh.
Yeah, my flesh. Like,
Train the
We all go through that though.
Yeah.
Like I brought a bunch of my old bills with me. Like, why am I bringing this stuff?
You might pay this later.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm gone.
yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
So it's still like trying to like rub things off for you.
Yeah.
And so that was the one thing. I'm thinking I need to go right into business. He's like, nah, I gotta deal with this right here.
I like how what you said, how you trusted him, and he really puts you in this position, and really been like making your provisions and paving your way. I give you a little background about how we ended up in this interview right now. Scoot over this way, baby. Motorcycle. Since we're here, gotta show y'all some of the products real quick.
This natural body baby. Natural body.
Yeah, natural product.
Natural body.
Yeah.
Natural body.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah. Come closer. Come. Busy Beachy. But yeah, just to talk about how we ended up in this situation and doing this interview. I never really had a one-on-one conversation with Sister Shamar.
I did.
Yeah, my wife did, and one of our friends had a consultation with her to come over here.
Yeah.
And I just heard about her story in past, and also some people that she's working with now, they partnered together to get something going. And they called me and was telling me about her story and about what's going on. And when I heard about what was going on and heard about what she's overcome and what she's trying to do, the Most High threw it in my spirit to go and interview her. Typically, when I interview people, I wait till I meet them. We talk. I get to know you. I get to make sure we're on the same page. But something in my spirit was like, no, go talk to her. Well, the Most High was telling me, leading me to go talk to her and to help her and to help put her voice on a bigger platform. Because I know here with my platform, I'm able to help people get help. I've been blessed with a position. I'm in a spot where if I say something, if I put a spotlight into somebody's situation, I know to get them some help. And I know that this is a way that by her being obedient, the Most High put me here to show you all that sis came over here, she left it all. She just came over here with nothing but pure faith. And I know there's many of us doing this. There's many of us thinking like it's not possible. It's not doable. We can't do this type of stuff. But we're seeing it. We're giving examples. We were an example years ago. Now she's another example of an entirely different situation, but still stepping out on faith. And we all need each other as a community. So she's coming here. She's told her story countless times to countless people within the community. She's being transparent. She's not being shy. She's not pretending like she didn't go through it. She's saying, hey, this is what I went through, but this is my plan to fix what I went through, and this is how I'm coming to help the community. And then on top of this, she sent out her resume to people.
Yes, talk about it.
Her resume. Like, she didn't come over here just playing around. She came
She didn't
focused.
get in the WhatsApp group and complain that diasporas wasn't giving her a job. She went out and literally went and found her a job. You know, if y'all need a job, y'all, a closed mouth don't get fed. Go
That's
and
how you-
ask.
Salama, salama.
Salama. Go and ask, because you never know who is in a position to help you, who's
People.
looking.
Poor.
You never know who's looking for help. You never know. So, yeah. Go ahead.
See, you can tell how we loved and we appreciated and we valued that, and we know how tough it is. It's tough for all of us over here.
Yeah.
But people aren't
Us
being,
too, y'all.
Yeah, us too. Us too. We just gifted at telling stories. Trust us. But listen, a lot of us aren't willing and able to put that down, put their pride down and ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to put your pride down and ask for help over here, because we all we got, and we all have each other. One thing I've learned, I've been able to speak to a lot of different people in positions here within our communities, and we have people that are wealthy that came over here with money who are ready to help, but people not saying nothing. They don't know how to help. So we have to start telling our
they're saying
truths.
something, but they're saying it wrong.
They're not saying
WhatsApp
it
groups,
properly.
they're just complaining
Yeah.
instead of, like she did, put out your resume and go see what's what.
Yeah.
But I'll say one thing is that I didn't realize the Most High was, it was like 2 weeks ago the Most High was working on my pride. I didn't realize I had with, you know, I didn't, like, I'm transparent sharing my testimony, but I still, part of it was like, I only share, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't want people thinking, oh, she got, she's single mom with 5 kids, let me, like, she want a handout, and I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But a lie in my mind was like, don't share because people gonna think that about you. But then that's the enemy trying to get me not to share my testimony, because I don't think like that. I don't want no handout.
Yeah.
Like I want to work, you know. And so anyway, so I wouldn't say nothing when I was struggling, and so there was a week that I was struggling. I was like, dang, this is all my.
This is struggle, huh?
Yo, this is all my money.
Start counting, looking in pockets,
Yo,
old
I
pockets.
was looking for little coins. Like, I need to get some fruit at the little local lady or something.
Yeah.
I wasn't about to ask nobody, right?
Yeah.
And then so what happened was, I'm like, oh, the Most High provides. I got enough food for today.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be enough. Something's gonna happen tomorrow. That's how we always do.
Always.
Right? That's how we always been since I've been here for like a whole month. Like,
Man.
you know, my family, they'll probably cash out me just to say, hey, like, give me a blessing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was the point where I'm not gonna ask them. I'm not gonna ask them for nothing. You know, so my mom had been helping me too, though. But she was like, but at this point, after like a whole month went by, because she saw what was happening with the whole divorce thing, she was like, I want to make sure you're set, you know? So, but after that, I was like, I don't want to ask for nothing. I don't want to ask her for nothing. I'm like, the Most High gonna do everything. I'm good. And then the same thing with the group. Like you said, you're like complaining. I was like, I wasn't complaining, but I was like, dang, I wish I could ask, like, where the people at? Like, where's everybody? You know, and I feel like the Most High was like, just like what you just said, was like, showed me, like, don't nobody know that you need any help because you ain't saying nothing. Like, how was, you know, so but before I had asked, because this is what it took me 3 days to ask. So it took me 3 days with no money and no food, but I mean, like, had bought food. Because in those 3 days, I was like, I became creative. I was like, first of all, the first day.
Creative.
I became creative. I was like, first of all, we going outside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this Google and be like, can we eat this right here? Here. I found out, but no, seriously, there was cassava.
I love it.
There was cassava in the front of the house. We was me and my daughter, I got videos too. We was digging up cassava. We had a lot though. Cassava, and then there was passion fruit, and there was papaya. And then, you know, I was like, we were getting tired. We made like cassava stew. You know, baked cassava, fried cassava. Like, there ain't no
Cassava
oil now. Like, there ain't nothing but the cassava leaves now. And so, but still, I Googled that. Can we eat cassava leaves? They was like, boil them for 10 minutes and they won't be, you know, toxic. And I'm like, I'm boiling them for 10 minutes. I got salt. We good. And then, then that's when I was like, got in my feelings and was like, I don't know where everybody at. Like, I need some help. Like, but I'm not about to ask. Like, but then the Most High, somebody wrote something at that same moment. I finished like praying and talking to the Most High about it. It was like somebody wrote like Brother Stephen wrote like he wrote something in the group. And I felt like it was the Most High saying it's time to ask. You know. And so I asked, and then, you know, people were just like blessing me. Somebody had like an abundance of kale. They don't even got out here. Kale and mustard greens and all that stuff she brought over there. 2 people went food shopping. And like 3 people had donated money. And so it was like,
look at that community coming together.
The community came right together, and I was like, dang, y'all, like, I feel like he was showing me, now you got pride. Like, I don't care what people think. Like, you keep opening your mouth, I'm gonna feel it. Like, you keep sharing your testimony, and I'm gonna continue to, you know, do what I do, is provide for you. And that's And then breaking that off was when, and that's why I said it took me like a month. Breaking that off, that pride off, has just been every day. I'm just walking with peace. Like, and like, oh yeah, and the sister messaged me about the job opportunity. You know, that same night after sending that message, and so I started creating like a plan on how I can create what I knew what the Most High called me to do here. It was on my vision board actually since October 2021.
Talk about the vision board,
Vision
sis.
board.
Yes,
I
I tell
know.
people you gotta make your vision
Gotta
board.
make a vision
Write
board.
the
Got
vision,
to.
make it plain.
It works.
Yes,
It works. It's still working.
Yes.
It's working itself out.
yes.
During the whole going through the divorce and stuff, and I was in the States, I didn't even look. I made it when I was in my hype after my consultation with Steve and Jamila.
Yeah.
And I made that vision board. I had dates on there. I had income. I had business ideas. And then I was just going through the whole faith thing with the divorce, like going crazy. I didn't even look at the board. I was just, yeah.
It was in your spirit already.
Yeah, so that's what, so long story short, I ended up coming over here, and the part of my vision board that we're talking about now is that the Most High was like showing me when I got here, I had two things: to create something for homeschooling parents to be able to get business done while their children stay productive, right? So like a program for children. And because me as a homeschooling parent and single parent, I am also studying. I'm a birth worker, and I'm studying to be a midwife.
Yes,
But I can't.
So is my wife.
But I can't really get that stuff done without my children, like, you know, in order.
Yeah.
And, you know, so. But like you see, like one thing at a time. The Most High was showing me. All right, well, here goes the program. That's what you're gonna do, and then. Like I said, he's been doing it. He's been opening doors. So now I'm just believing in the next part, which is creating that space so that now I could study as well as much as I want to study and do my birth work. But we're working on the children's part of that vision board first. So I'm just believing in doing my thing. And the Most High, I got peace, and the Most High is just providing. So
Making a way, all crazy.
We definitely gonna have to talk more on the birth work and stuff, because I know I got some ideas, you got some ideas, so we gonna put our ideas together and make some ideas. Yeah, make something happen.
exactly. So those are some of the things that I was like kind of complaining about. Was like, all right, y'all, like you gave me this vision, and it's like, who else is trying to come together and work and get these things done? And that's what happened when I got that pride out of the way, and I got, you know, put those boundaries up. And then it was like, now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna connect you with the people to now get the children's the program for the children ready, you know. And I believe, you know, next, because I even said that I was like, yeah, I got this part of the vision. I don't think I'm supposed to do this on my own, and I don't see how I can do it on my own. And that's when it's just like, door open. Oh, I have a space for you. And they have all the furniture, have the space ready, and I can just at least start, you know, baby steps to what the big picture. And now it's another sister who had something. So with you saying that too, it's like, all right,
Another piece to the puzzle.
another piece of the puzzle. So
All praises.
So if they are interested, if the diaspora or even Tanzanians are interested in bringing their children to the program, it's kind of like a homeschooling program.
yeah.
How can they reach you?
Okay, so you can go to shamazra.com, but the program is Ancient Paths program. So it's an enrichment program for the homeschooling children of the diaspora to learn self-sustainable skills. From right now, it's from ages 2 to 7, but you know, I'm trying to get a space so I can do 2 all the way up to teens. You know, 'cause I have a teenager, but I see the Most High is just working out the baby steps. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how your story is like you said in the beginning, a lot of our, like, the stories in the Bible are like real life experiences. And it's like your story is like could be one of those same stories that's in the Bible as well. Because you began to come over here, and now that you're here, you stepped out on faith to come here. And now that you're here in this position, you're using your gift to continue to make room for you. That's what scripture tells us anyway. Your gift will make room for you. Your gift is a teacher. Your gift is to be able to help children, like you said. You've been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. It's like, you know, they're like the back of your hand. So you're coming over here immediately thinking about how can I put my gift to work? And it's making room for you. So I commend you for this, sis. I commend you. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. And, you know, you're still fighting, and you're a strong woman. You're a voice for a lot of women. I'm sure they're gonna see this video.
They're gonna blow you up,
man. Yeah,
which is good. Though.
Yeah.
It's good to share.
Yeah. She definitely has a good spirit about it. She definitely has a good heart to be able to help. So if you have, you know, you're dealing with some of the things that you feel led to talk to her about, I'm sure she's an open book and more than willing to help you out, you know, and help you get some help. So, you know, anything, since you've been here for 2 months, right?
Yes.
Any words that you have for people that want to come, that's thinking about coming, and they're in their own way?
What do you mean in their own way?
They're telling themselves, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm not supposed to do it. Like, they hear the call. Like you said, you was telling yourself, you heard the call, but you battled for a month. People in that battling stage, they heard the call. How can you help them get out of the battling stage? What would you say to them?
You already know what the Most High wants you to do, so be obedient. That's it.
That's it.
Period.
Period.
No matter how hard it is.
Yes.
Well, sis, Asante Sana, we thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come and talk to us and give our people some insight and show them that they can do whatever they put their mind to, as long as they just believe in themselves and have faith.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it. And, you know, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you go and check our sister out. I'll put all her information in the description box. So if you have children here that's within the diaspora, she's here to help teach them as well. And if you want to help and show her love and come support her and just give her, you know, give her words of encouragement or help her program go to the next level, she's here. And, you know, we thank y'all. Any last words you want to say?
Nope, you can just find me at shamarza.com. And I thank you guys so much for interviewing me and sharing your time and story with me as well. It's been encouraging.
You're welcome, sis.
Amen.
Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
Shalom.